I love troubleshooting and puzzles. Just getting in there, finding all those corner pieces, all the edge pieces, getting all that put together, which is kind of like going into the building, for the first time, seeing what you have to work with, put all that together. For a new construction, such as the apartment building, it's cut and dry. I mean, there are no hidden features that you're gonna run into, whereas in a renovation, you are. A renovation project, sometimes you have no idea what you're walking into. Everything looks cut and dry on paper, but once you get in there to start installing things, it may not be what you think it is.
I think mostly the interesting part was just having one owner with two general contractors, and the general contractors were obviously focused on their specific project, where we had both projects. So we were really trying to facilitate what the owner needed for turnover to get the museum ready so they could start moving in their artwork even while the residential building was still going up. There was a lot of intermixing scope, like a lot of the site lighting around the historic building, the raceways and the lights were part of the residential scope, but the wiring was part of the historic scope. So we really, having us do both and having two PDI superintendents to do that handoff made it so much smoother. Having all of it be power design was so much easier than having another contractor that we had to try to coordinate with that maybe didn't have the same interests of both projects. So having power design doing both projects meant we could really facilitate both projects and what made the most sense to try to accomplish what the owner needed.
Because on a new building, everybody kind of coordinates and works together. And that's where they get these 3D models that you can actually see how everything's gonna line up and go together, because you basically got free open space. Where in a renovation, such as the museum, there's certain walls that we couldn't penetrate and go through, so we had to find different ways around, and sometimes, an opening would have to be made bigger so multiple people could get through there at the same time. They've got something that has to go in that spot, so we've got to find a different way around it, which had happened a couple times. But we got it figured out.
Using things like field wire, and clear the path where they could take pictures, and especially on a historic building where there's a lot of existing conditions, being able to have pictures of that to see what's going on and what's holding us up, to communicate it to the GC, that was very helpful.
My favorite part, I would say, about the museum is seeing the final finished product, and the owners kept coming through many times and just seeing the smiles and the happiness on their faces. But once it was all done and they came through for that final walk, and just seeing the joy they've got. All the amenities together, they look fantastic. And it's enough to make me want to say, hey, I wouldn't mind living there.